Hi everybody, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and today I have to make the first of my junk journal swap items. Just to give you a bit of quick context, especially if you're new to this channel, I am part of an Aussie crafting group and every month they do a host of swaps which you can participate in or you can choose not to. And this is the third year of a group of us doing a junk journal swap. So what we did, we each created an A5 journal for ourselves. Then every month we get a swap partner and we have to make specific items for them and we send it to them. So even though you made the journal, they are full of everybody else's creations. So the first year I did a botanical themed journal. So everybody that sent me goodies, they were a botanical theme. The second year, I ended up with this delightful monster. This was my ocean theme journal. I love the ocean, so this is just like my pride and joy. And have a look at the size of this thing. And every piece of ephemera in there was made by someone else. So if you'd like to see a flip through of these journals, but at the same time you want some ephemera making ideas, I have a playlist called Creative Collab Journal. And if you go to that, you will have hours of watching and hours of inspiration on things you can make for junk journals. Now, I'm going to put these monsters aside because they take up every inch of space that I've got here. This year, we're doing something slightly different. Following inspiration from Pink Monarch prints, we're doing a different style junk journal for the first half of the year. The beauty of this project is, even though the first pieces are quite simple, apparently they do get a little bit more difficult as time goes by. Worry about that then. This journal requires no binding, no sewing, no nothing, because it is put together with 3 rings. So very simple. So if you are a beginner junk journal, you might like to follow this series along because you're going to make each page as a separate entity, decorated accordingly. And then all you have to do is have 3 rings. I purchased these. I get these off Temu, but I've also found them in some of the cheap shops in Australia. They're not hard to get hold of. And wham, your journal's done. So this year I have gone with a coffee theme. So I'm going to end up with all sorts of coffee themed goodies. And the lady I am swapping with this month has decided to do an ocean journal. Well, of course, that is just up my alley because I have more than enough ocean themed goodies to play with. So I'm going to show you how we make this first one. The other thing with this is if something goes horribly wrong, you can just throw the whole lot in the bin if you really want to because you're not doing it in an actual journal. And then sometimes you've got to try and come up with fancy ways to make things work. But in this case, if you really hate what you've done, you can ditch it. But let's play. It's very simple. It sort of looks complicated, but really it's not. The first thing you need is some cardstock. You could possibly do this with paper, but I think it might be a bit flimsy. So I would suggest cardstock or certainly something a little heavier than just normal copy paper. Reason being, technically, what we're doing here is the cover of the journal and the first page. Now, I have already decided that I'm going to make a separate cover for the front and the back of mine when the time comes to protect the work that I have been sent. Seems logical to me. But that's not sort of what we're doing right now. And even though I am in Australia and we do the centimetre thing, we've all agreed to do this in inches just because if we convert it to centimetres, there's too much room for error and we want all of these pages to be the same. So we're starting off with a single piece of cardstock. It doesn't matter if it's single-sided. These two are going to be glued together at the end. So single-sided, perfectly okay. I've gone for this lovely sort of seaweed pale background. And it is 8 inches by 7.5 inches. So almost square, but not quite. And then all you have to do is simply fold this first piece, your base, in half. Okay, now the next thing we have to remember, we're going to do some decorating now, nothing too difficult, but see, this is the what I call the open side. Now, obviously, when it's all glued down, it really doesn't matter which side, but to make it easier for your brain to get it right, the open side, you need to leave some space down here that is not all full of decoration, because that's where you're going to punch the 3 holes for your rings. So just keep that in mind. What I'm doing, I'm trying to leave a nice little gap. If you do decide you want to do it with copy paper, then I would certainly think about adding something a little bit stronger, a little strip down here to give it a bit of strength, because otherwise it might tear. So first things first, we've got an 8-inch by 7.5 inch. We've folded it in half. So technically this is now our cover. Now we, of course, can decorate this in any way we like. So I've decided I'm going to start this with a turtle theme. So my very first piece of cardstock that we are going to glue down, let me just grab I use my junk mail as glue paper, and then when it's all gluey and gluggy, I throw it in the recycle bin, so it lives a second life. And this piece here, this doesn't have to be any exact size. This is up to you to decide how you would like to decorate it. But just in case you want to know, this piece here is 3 inches by 6 inches. I'm not following the exact process that Pink Monarch Prints did. I've decided to do my cover my way. As long as we produce the basic item, if we want to elaborate on it, make it a little bit different, that's fine. So as you can see, this is just purely a decorative piece. So we're just going to do a little bit of layering here, and we don't measure things around here if we can avoid it. We're just going to eyeball that down. This is going to disappear into the background as we progress along anyway. So that's my first piece. Then I decided I wanted a little bit of darker contrast. This is simply 1 inch by 5.5 inches, just a piece of cardstock I had in my stash. The beauty of this project is just use whatever you've got. Of course, it doesn't have to be ocean theme if that's not your jam, but I have to do an ocean theme and I am happy to do that. So there we go. We've added another strip, again, purely decorative, and I've left this strip here. This is, especially because this is my first one doing these things, in my head I went, make it easy for yourself. Give yourself a little border to play with. I know that decorating down there is not on, so I won't be. So all good. Then I found this in my stash, and that's how I decided turtles was going to be the go for me. You could use a journaling card. You could put a tag on the front. It's completely up to you, but I found this cute little ready-made thing in my stash and have decided I'm going to use that. And that's where the whole turtle thing came about. And I don't want it dead in the middle. I just want it there, like that. Okay, very simple. Then the next thing I found this in my stash, and I thought the colours and everything worked perfectly. So we're going to place that there, but just to make life easier, I think I'll just use some glue. My favourite glue is Helmer's Tiger Grip. Easy to get in a lot of cheap shops and Spotlight here in Australia. It is the best paper crafting glue as far as I'm concerned. There we go. So we've got a nice little bit of seaweedy arrangement down here. Then I found this and decided I think a little starfish down here would be perfect. And I fussy cut 2 very cute little turtles to be part of this. I think we'll put this bigger one up the top. So just a bit of glue for that. He can sort of be up over the top there. And then another one down below. Voila. And he can nudge over the edge there too. So that's the first bit. Incredibly simple. And I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. Then I realized it's going to get a little bit more difficult as we go on after I've watched some of the advanced videos of how we're doing this. Let me just pop the lid on this, on these glues for a sec, because what I have decided to do is, this is very light and white. So I have decided, this is Distress Oxide, Uncharted Mariner. It's a beautiful deep blue. I think I'm just going to ink these edges, especially if this person I'm swapping with decides they don't want to make a separate cover. This will help stop the edges getting daggy, especially because they're almost white. You sort of won't notice it if you get any little marks or anything on it. So we're just going to duck around here. I don't have to do the inside because when we're finished here, we're going to glue all this down. I just need to do the outer edge. And just I like using these little daubers. I buy them in big bulk pack. I just find it easier to do smooth edges. Fabulous. And then I'm going to do the back as well while I'm at it, but I'll cut this bit out. You've got the drift. You don't need to watch me doing this. We are now ready to move on to what is technically page 1. And I'm doing this open like this. This reminds me that I have to keep my edge clean. If I have it closed up, I might accidentally not concentrate and end up with this part clean, but of course that's not suitable. So it's safer to work this way. Now we're doing the same sort of thing again. This is another background piece. It's just purely for decoration and to provide a little bit of contrast. And what I thought I might do with this is actually only glue it down on 3 sides and make an extra pocket in here. This was not part of the plan. This is it's meant to go down straight, but you know, I like to break the rules a little bit and get a bit inventive. So I think we might do that. Now, keeping in mind that when this goes down, we want to keep this bit open because this is technically, when you look at the page, that's what it'll look like. And then if we have that here, we're keeping our bit vacant there, but we could then slot something and hide it in there. So that's what we're going to do. Now, this is the bit I want open. So what I do is I will flip this over. I keep my fingers on this section. I learnt this from Angela Kerr, and honestly, it's one of the best things I've learnt in a very long time, so that you don't accidentally put glue on the opening, because we don't want that. And we're just running a little bit of glue all the way along. And we're going to pop that down. And again, we've got to keep our room for movement. There we go. I should easily be able to slide a journaling card in there when we're done. And that's just a little secret pocket that was not part of the plan, but it's part of the plan today. So now I'm going to flip this sideways. And the reason why I'm doing that, I find that this will be easier for this next section. What we have to do is we have to make some round pockets. I have used my die cut machine to create these, and I realized I didn't write down the measurements. So let me hunt for my ruler. Oh my dear Lord, where is it? It's hiding under this mess somewhere. Hang on a minute. I will be back when I find it. Okay, I finally found my ruler. It's hidden under 3 different projects that are happening to the left there. Now, just for measurement's sake, this one here is about a 2 3/4 inch diameter. So you need to cut 3 of these because we also need to make the little pocket part. But I actually, I didn't have enough of this to cut a full circle, so I just cut 2 half circles out of this because I liked this for contrast. So very easy way to make pockets, and being round, they look fun. Now let's just look, when we're not measuring things, I promise, but I just want a rough guide of where I want to put them. And because I've made this little secret pocket here, I don't think I want them above, so we're not going to do that. So now this can go down completely because this is the base of the pocket. It's a decorative element rather than anything practical. So we don't need to worry about a ton of glue or a ton of anything because it's purely decorative. And let's just leave a little bit of a border there. And then this other one, we're going to do exactly the same. Just putting down some glue for the sake of it. And we might spin this one a little bit because otherwise the patterns are too similar. And then we just roughly place that down. There we go. Perfect. Then the next thing, we add our little pocket part. So what we have to do is make sure that we just run glue right around the edge. We don't need a ton of it because we don't want it to take up too much pocket space. And then we're placing that down the bottom. So I chose to go with a sort of contrasting colour here. But it's still, these were not matching, but I made them sort of match. You can see these tanny neutrally colours, so I thought that went quite well for the pockets. Just a little bit of glue all the way around. Okie doke, pop that down. And we now have 2 pockets. Very cute. Now, we need a little something to go inside. I die cut 2 more circles after I had glued them down. I had some, you can see it's finely grid. It's paper. They were paper notebooks I bought from Daiso ages ago. You can't get them anymore, unfortunately, but great to actually provide some journaling space because the back of this was very loud. And just for your reference, these are a fraction under 2 inches. See, just that tiny bit under. It depends on how big your die cuts are. And see how we now have a little mini journaling card for each one. And I think we need a little bit of extra deco though. I'm not 100% happy with this. I don't feel it's quite enough. So I thought, I found this in my stash. It's very nautical and it sort of matches the colours. I just don't quite know what I want to add. Maybe, okay, I quite like this, Discover. Can we make this fit on here? We can. So let's put just a little bit of glue on to make that, because these stickers I've had in my stash for ages, so I don't trust them to stick well. So always add a little bit of glue. I like that. And then I think I really like this rope. Now here, what we need to do is we need to trim off a bit and make it fit. Let me grab some tiny scissors for this. I want a piece that sort of, let's see, if we trim this around, and then that way we're bringing the dark blue in to both pieces. Maybe that way. Yes, I like that. Let's do it. Just a little bit of glue to help it hold, because otherwise it probably won't last. Oh, that looks cute. Oh, that was a very good fit too. Well done, Nick. That was a good guess. All right, now I think I like these round ones. I think we should pop these on here. So this one says memories with an anchor. I like that very much. And what we're going to do is we're going to put it sort of up the top. So when you put this in to your pocket, you can see it, or some of it anyway. And then, how about we use this one, Enjoying the Beach Together? I think that's rather cute. Okay. Yes, I like that. There we go. And then I did find these two little things, and I really think I want to just tuck these in the back for a little bit of extra interest. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of vintage photo here and just do the edges a little bit. This one hasn't been perfectly cut, but we'll hide that with a little bit of vintage photo because this looks like a vintage beach photo. And let's see, I was thinking we could just tuck that in behind for a little bit of something extra. And I've also got this very pretty shell one. I think this is a little Tim Holtz piece I found in my stash. So just a gentle bit of inking. And that, I think, goes in that way. And that can just hide in there too. And we're done. So see, this one was actually really simple. Of course, it's up to you as to how elaborate you decorate them. But this is the basics of what we had to do. Now, of course, the only thing I need to get a journaling card to tuck in there. Of course, I didn't prep that because I decided at the last minute to turn that into a little secret pocket. So now that's all complete. I've kept my borders so she can easily make holes. And we decided we're not going to make the holes just in case we don't get the measurements quite right. We decided it would be better if everybody just does them at the very end so that they can measure up and do them exactly as they need. So I think that's a good safe thing, just in case someone just doesn't get the measurements right. And that would be so disappointing if you had some that, you know, were a bit down, a bit up, a bit whatever. And then we're just going to gently close this down. Voila. So, oh, sorry, knocked my stand. So now we have technically the cover and we have our first page done. So I will leave this video here and I will do a separate video for the second one. It is a little bit more involved than this, so I will do it separately. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below. I'd love to hear. And of course, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.